Hello everybody, BrosForLife here, back with another video. In today's video, we are going to be hopping right back in to our series on The Walking Dead Season 2. This is episode 4
Episode
of
4.
our Walking Dead podcast. Here with Mitch, Virtual Party Center. I will leave a link in the description to his channel as well. So, yeah.
Thanks, Bros.
Alright, so where did we leave off?
We left off as we were all running off into the forest after being in the horde, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And no, wait a second. We have that moment with Rebecca where she is too scared to get out of the horde.
Oh,
and
I actually have a bit more story than you do here because I chopped off Sarita's arm.
Oh, true. Okay, so you go ahead and tell them what happened there. My story just they ran off and I met up with them later, but Bros had a completely different outcome. So go ahead and explain what happened.
Yeah. Okay, so in my story, I actually chose to chop off Sarita's arm because in my logic, I thought that the sooner we do it, the sooner we chop her arm off, the more likely it was for her to survive. So I chopped her arm off, and then it turned out that was not the right decision because she started screaming. All the walkers came over to her, started eating her alive. Then Kenny comes along, and he's obviously breaking down because it's his girlfriend, his second love interest that has that's gotten killed, and it's really hard for him, and pretty much he's just sitting there at this point, and he's on the ground crying in the middle of a zombie horde. So that's not great for the odds of, surviving, obviously, but he does make it out of there. He starts blaming Clementine for her dying, which I don't agree with at all, but it makes sense.
He's in a little bit of shock too, and that's one thing I have to kind of throw in is if you're in shock and you're in a really highly emotional state, it is super easy to throw blame around and be like, this is your fault. And then when he calms down a little bit later, I think he kind of says he's sorry about that, right?
He does, I think, but that's towards the end of this episode, so it's a while down the line, but he does, yeah.
Okay, so
then...
Yep, go ahead.
I think that's pretty much it for that scene, and then what happens next? You go ahead.
Then we run off, and we ultimately meet up with Rebecca, who is not doing so hot, and she's saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't get out of this horde. This is too much for me. And then Jane ends up escorting us out by using a walker with a cut-off jaw that she does. And she escorts us out of the horde together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She cuts off that walker's jaw and uses it as like a bodyguard. So the walker can't bite. It can't bite us. But I think that killed it, right?
I don't think it kills it. It just can't eat anything anymore. So it's probably going to die again of starvation.
Remember when she let go of it, it fell on the ground, so it might have...
Oh, she stabbed it. She stabbed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she killed it.
Okay. So yeah.
Then
she uses that walker, and which is honestly a smart tactic. I want to see if we're able to do that in this next season.
Right, like going off of our learnings and figure out what's to go on, and as we're growing up, we're like, hey, maybe we can teach someone else that tactic. Who knows?
AJ.
Ooh, hey, good point. Actually,
we're gonna be. I think we're definitely gonna be teaching AJ a lot this next season. I think that's gonna be a big point of this season.
A big arc, yeah, of like us teaching him maybe the things that Lee and Kenny and everyone taught us.
Yep. That's
gonna be exciting.
Oh, so adorable. So I hope he doesn't die. I hope he lives.
If they kill. Have they killed a baby? No, they've killed the kid. Remember in season 1 when we went up to the attic and we had to kill the kid, right?
I was about to say that, but that wasn't well, I guess they technically have killed a kid, Duck.
Oh, Duck as well. Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
And that kid in the attic reminded me of Duck and Kenny too.
And Kenny reminded Kenny of Duck, and he got really freaking depressed.
Yeah. So.
But then we end up going off with Jane and Rebecca, and this is where I say my famous "wow" comment that bro keeps bringing up.
So pretty much, we were all in this talk, and while Rebecca was, she needed a break, obviously, because she's carrying the baby, right? And it's not easy to walk a lot when you have a baby in your stomach, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So she needed a break, and then during that break, she was having a mood swing, because you explain this bit.
When you're pregnant, you get emotional and your hormones are up, so you kind of get moody and angry at random things. And I'm guessing it's even heightened even more because of the apocalypse and all the stress they're under. So everyone is stressed out and moody, so it's going to be even more so for her.
So yeah, once we get there, pretty much Rebecca is going on about how it's. What was she talking about?
I think she was saying, it's hard, to go on and, be so strong in these times and stuff. I think this is what's happening. And then Jane was saying, oh my gosh, it's such a hard time, but you have to keep going because, even if people are depending on you, you have to keep going and leave them behind or whatever, because otherwise they're going to bring you down with them. And then she brings up her sister, and then in that moment, Rebecca goes, what? She died? And then
yeah, and then Mitch was like, wow.
Like,
wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And bro just thinks that's the funniest thing in the world.
It is. Let's be honest. It is. Here, I'm gonna play that clip right now. Okay. I'm gonna play it.
Go ahead.
I'm at that part. Okay. I'm at that part.
Sure.
Okay. So we're almost there. Okay, it might be a minute actually. Fill in the space.
Fill in the space? Oh, you mean what?
Just talk.
Oh, we can always just cut to it too. But regardless, she's like saying all this stuff about, oh my gosh, it's so hard. And then ultimately they end up kind of just arguing and saying, hey, everything's kind of high maintenance right now. And then they end up walking over to the group they find, and they meet up with everybody where Kenny is obviously very sad. Yeah, I'd say that pretty much covers the conversation they had. What were you thinking? Or did you have any thoughts about it otherwise than that?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, we can just cut to whenever I say my famous quote.
I'm just gonna play that in the edited version.
Sure. When we meet up with Kenny, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, I obviously didn't think he would be much help for the group at that point, for a little bit at least, because he has to go through another session of him mourning.
Right.
Which, how many times have we gone through this? A lot.
Yeah, there's
a lot.
Holy crap. With him, there was his wife and child in the same day, which is crazy.
And after that, he was all pissy at Ben.
And Ben, then, him and Lee, he sacrificed himself to save Lee, but he survived. Him, potentially mourning the loss of Lee, because Lee, eventually died himself. Then Sarita. The boat. All right, then the boat. Then there's also Sarita. There's,
I think that's mainly it for now.
Yeah, that's probably mainly it. Walter, too. Walter was his friend. Matthew. He so many people died.
I don't think he was that close. He was obviously close with them, but I don't think he was as. Yeah,
just maybe close friends, maybe just friends in general. But not obviously not like a family member like we are to him. So then we meet up with him at the camp, and everyone's there. He's going through a grieving process, and obviously this is the point in your story where he blames you specifically, and he's mad at you for doing what you did, right? And you want to go on about that a little bit?
So yeah, pretty much after I chopped off Sarita's arm, once we met up with everyone, he was obviously all mad at us, and he was blaming us for everything that happened with Sarita. And well, I do get where he's coming from. Well, I do get where he's coming from. It's like she's a little girl. She's trying to do the right thing. Like, I don't know. It's really hard in this situation because you're a little girl,
Right.
11 or 12. I think we figured out in the last episode of this podcast.
Yep.
And it's just a 12-year-old trying to do the right thing ends up not working, unfortunately. She tried her best,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get all mad at her, and that is gonna make someone feel really, really bad.
Yeah, I don't understand how Kenny, in the moment, he's emotional, but putting the death of someone on a 11 or 12-year-old girl, like, holy crap.
Yeah,
That's kind of messed up.
like, I understand it, but it's like, come on, Kenny.
He went a little too far. Like, didn't he in your playthrough, didn't he say, like, this is your fault? He said those words exactly.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think he did too. Yeah.
I think so.
I don't remember if he did in my playthrough.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, in my playthrough,
Really?
he still had Sarita there, and she was kind of good old. She was the Lee. She was how Lee was, and at least, I mean, in my playthrough, at least he had her to say goodbye to. In a way, that's how I view it. I wish they would have taken the arm off immediately after they were out of the horde, but they didn't, so she ended up dying. And I believe he was the one that had to put her down too. In your playthrough, did he do that?
I'm looking at it right. What do you mean?
Did Kenny
Like,
end up actually finishing her while she was on the ground dying, or was it someone else?
no, he left her to. No, I think he did finish her. Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, that's a lot of death he's had to do at his own hands. Holy crap! So I'm guessing the emotional toll on him is pretty dang high, and maybe his view of reality is a little mixed as well, just because he's been through so much pain.
It's just so hard. I have it in sync right now where both of us are at, and it's different because you have Sarita there, I don't. And he's just going full on out with Clementine. It's
scary. It's a little scary. Like, holy crap, Kenny, calm down a little bit. Holy crap.
Okay, so I am actually even in your playthrough, I'm with this and I'm reading what he's saying. I think I'm gonna read off what he is saying to Clementine right here. So she walks up to him and he says, you think I don't know what y'all are whispering about over there? They implying that they think they're all talking about him being angry. And so then you say, so yeah, he says he wanted a little time alone, which makes sense.
Right.
And then he says, gotta play that bad hand that was this poop world that dealt us. I don't know what that means.
Like, if you're playing a game of cards and you get dealt a bad hand and then you lose the game, that's what that means.
Okay.
So he was saying, I got dealt this crap hand that, the world making me play.
Yeah. And then you try to apologize and he says, you hear that, babe? Clem says she's sorry. Doesn't that make you feel better? Like, oh, that's so mean.
Yeah, he's putting the blame of what happened to her completely on you, and so unfair. Although he does try to make up for it later by apologizing, but it's still said in the moment. So then
he says, being angry, you said being angry won't help. And then he says, no, because it's sure as heck helping me. So it's like...
Yeah, he's just angry and emotional in the moment.
And then there's one thing right here. You say, I tried to save her. And he says, look at her. I said, look at her. And then he goes to say, right after that, she is going to die because of you.
Yep. He was definitely in the emotions at the
And
moment.
this is probably the biggest line that just full on hits her and makes her cry.
Yeah.
You think because you're just a little girl, you can just get people killed and no one will care? That because you're sorry, it'll all magically go away.
God, he's such an
Not how it works.
Yeah, holy crap.
So yeah, that's pretty much what he says.
Yeah, I don't know. I can kind of reason with him because he's definitely high emotions, but he's saying this to a young girl, and oh god, like I understand.
I thought that was just in my playthrough, but no, that was with you too.
Yeah, he's just an angry man, and you know, he's high in his emotions. He's saying things when he's mad. I think he should have calmed down first before he said anything, but obviously he said what he said. So, yikes.
Yeah.
He eventually does calm down, but in the meantime, you go back to the group and you guys discuss what? We kind of discussed going different places, right?
We discussed where we should have Rebecca's baby.
Okay. And this is also where we get to decide where we go with Mike and Mike and Bonnie, or Jane to scout, right?
Yeah, Jane. Yeah.
So I think me and you both went with Jane first, correct?
Yes, we did.
Cool. Okay. So then that is also where we, you know, as we're walking there, she gives the story about, you know, her sister and what happened with her. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, wait.
Right.
No, before that, we go to save Luke and Sarah.
That's what I was mentioning on our way there to save Luke and Sarah, that little compound, right? Doesn't she give the story of her sister on the way there, or is that not there?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
But I guess I did the wrong thing, and I was saying we go to find Rebecca's baby first, but no, yeah, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So essentially, do you have any thoughts on the story she said with her sister, or do you just kind of, it's whatever, it's kind of like the thing we talked about before with it's something that happened to someone else in the past, so we didn't really connect with it, but we kind of felt bad for her, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it happened with her sister. Her sister ultimately was being just like Sarah and got herself killed because she, you know, didn't want to accept the world as the way it was now. And that's pretty much what happened there. So then they get to the compound, and we had a split story decision here, where, you know, in your playthrough, what happened and who did you meet?
Wait, we met someone here?
Yeah, you met Luke and Sarah, right?
Oh yeah. Didn't you find
I found Nick. He was zombified.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is a split thing. So if Nick ultimately survives in your story and you don't have Walter shoot him, or not shoot him, but not shoot the zombie, he ultimately dies in this situation trying to escape and find help for Luke and Sarah. But then they play out the same, and we have to get in and save them from the horde of walkers that are around their trailer, which played out the same for us, right?
Yes, but this is where Jane actually introduces the screwdriver to Clementine.
Right. Go on about that really quick on how the importance of that.
I'll let you go on about that.
You go ahead. I gotta look at some emails really quick. I gotta look at some emails. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much Jane wanted to show us that if you use a screwdriver on the zombies, you can pretty much instantly pull it out. And like, that's actually a really good tip, because with the hammer that Clementine used to use on zombies, she learned that it gets stuck really, really easily. While the screwdriver, on the other hand, you can just poke it in their skull, pull it out real quick, and yeah, it works really well. And this is another point while we're trying to save Luke and Sarah, is they are trying to while they're taking out zombies, they Jane actually gave another point where if you kick out the zombies' legs, then they fall on the ground and you can stab them in the skull with a screwdriver.
Right.
So she gave some good tips there.
Yes, she did. That knocks them down, disorients them, and then you have a chance to stab them while they're on the ground and makes it really easy for you. Usually we get inside and we distract the walkers, and we get inside and we see Sarah is... What?
Do you remember how they got the attention of the walkers?
Yeah, the stupid stick on the horn, right?
Yeah, no, they put the zombie on the horn.
Oh, right, yeah, the zombie on the horn, and we knelt it on there, and then we eventually got inside where Sarah was having a panic attack, right?
Yeah, a major panic attack.
I had to end up slapping her to get it out of her. Yeah, you slapped her too?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was...
And if you didn't slap her, she dies.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh,
she dies.
Snap.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a good thing we were a little violent there.
Yeah.
We gave her the good old Carlos one too.
Exactly. During her thing about her dad.
Yeah. Essentially, that was the whole story of what Jane told us before, but personified, where now Sarah was the quote-unquote lost cause, but we ultimately brought her with us. And Jane the entire time was saying, leave her, she's gone, don't do it, but we convinced her to come with.
We convinced her to come. Yeah.
And that right there put a bad taste in my mouth for Jane, because she was so just ready to drop someone and let them die,
Yeah.
So it was definitely a moment that changed my opinion of Jane slightly, but we did end up saving Sarah. Yeah, because she was literally like, Clementine, go, we have to come on, or we have to come on, go now. And I was like, no, let's help Sarah and make her come with us. And Jane was ready to let her die right then and there instead of helping her. And that made me change my opinion a little bit.
Good point.
So then we end up escaping, or did you have anything else to add to that?
I don't think so, other than I was gonna say, I feel like that's another moment where your emotions are obviously running really high.
Right.
And it's like, because your friend, well, I try to call her our friend in this, but I don't know how Clementine really felt about her. Right. Because I think Clementine cared about her, but it's just that she would always be getting in the way, if you know what I mean.
She took the place of Nick in a way.
Oh, that's actually funny.
Yep.
Funny way of putting it.
I wonder if each season is going to have that one character that is just the annoyance, I guess, in a way.
Probably. Because that creates a lot of drama for the story.
It does. The first one was Ben. The second one is Nick and now Sarah. Yes. And it's going to be like that forever, I guess. But then we end up leaving the trailer and we start walking back to camp, where I believe we can go with Mike and what the heck's her name? Bonnie. And Bonnie. That one, it's not as significant. Basically, we just go with them. We get the old war coat for Rebecca, and we get the gallons of water, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
But didn't we both choose to go with Jane first?
To go sweat. No, we didn't. We chose that last.
We did?
We did. I believe so. Or did we not?
I did mine first. I think we both did Jane.
I thought we ended our episode going back to tell the group about the place, didn't we? We can actually check this out, actually. Let's go on here. And there's the end of this episode where they're, fighting for their lives. Let's check out where we went next. So we're going back to the group and go here. Let's check this out. Oh, we went and saw Kenny. He was grieving, and
we went. Okay.
Yep. So,
I guess we got to talk about Kenny for a minute then.
Yep. So this was at the point Kenny had calmed down a little bit, right?
but he was talking to Clementine about how getting beaten to death felt peaceful.
Right.
In
like
a way.
He kind of accepted death in a way.
Yeah.
Right? Like he said.
It said it was like word? drifting off on a cloud.
Right. And
like
he said, he's been through so much crap that, he finally thought this was the moment he was going to find peace, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he said, and it pulled me back down. And I was like, oh my God, this is really dark. But holy crap, it just goes to show how much of an impact this is having on his emotional state. He is feeling it hardcore. That's pretty much what he says to us. And he also apologizes for what he said earlier, correct?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But also, I just wanted to point that out there. The reason we actually did go inside the tent was because we needed to talk to Kenny about getting a place or I can't think.
Helping Rebecca have the baby?
I'm trying to say, right? Yeah.
Right.
Because, no, this isn't. As soon as we leave the tent, her water breaks.
Oh, is it? I think it's actually when you get back.
Yeah.
I think it's when you get back because then that's kind of the rush.
Okay,
yes. So let's zoom ahead a little bit. Kenny basically apologizes to us and talks to us about what's going on. And we end up going with Jane first. You are correct on that statement. We will go with Jane first to the, what do you want to call it? The lookout, maybe? The tourist tower, I guess.
Yeah, whatever you call that.
Yeah, the tourist
really
tower,
sure
where we inevitably have our first encounter with Arvo. Arvo. And I have my opinions on Arvo.
I do too. Some big opinions on Arvo. Oh man.
Oh, he
Although in my story, like in my videos, I went a completely different direction than you did, but this isn't until episode 5. So.
Right, yeah, me and you treated him differently, and
differently, yeah.
But we also
go ahead.
When we had the medicine, or he brought the medicine, we both chose to give it back, right? Right, me and you both chose to give it back, and we gave it to him and told Jane to shut up because that's stealing and that's not our stuff to steal.
Yeah.
And what were you going to say about Arvo before?
I was going to say that, I mean, I could leave this until episode 5, but I just want to put that out there.
Go ahead.
In episode 5, you took a very aggressive approach on him, while I kind of went easy on him. And I think now that I rewatching this, I think if I would have changed something about how I treated him, I think I definitely would have gone more aggressive on him, because he caused that major problem in the final episode. So
he's we'll talk about it when we get there. How about that?
Yeah.
So we end up meeting Arvo. He has a gun on us. Jane steals it, and she says we need to take this medicine because it'll help everybody. But me and Bros say no, stealing is bad.
Yeah, we both know, yeah.
And we give it back to him. And
you've been like that since season 1. Even when season 1, when they gave you the option to steal, you said no. I said yes. But that, I feel like in season 1, it was a way different story.
Right. It was a little bit different scenario as well.
Yeah.
And it presented it kind of like it's a car that's just sitting there that may have been abandoned, but yeah.
Well, this is like
different.
it's legit someone's items that you're right in front of him and you're trying to steal it from him. So it's different. All right. Yep. Hi.
All right.
Okay, so it was at the point where we were debating whether to steal from Arvo, and both of us said no, correct?
We said no because stealing is wrong from somebody that is, in the moment defenseless. Jane took his gun, and we didn't want to be thieves. We didn't want to take it from him, and then we sent him off on his way.
Clementine didn't want to be a thief.
Right. Jane said she didn't care. And that's when I also said, okay, well, this is another moment where I'm like, okay, Jane, that's kind of scummy. Why are you doing this? And that changed my opinion again.
Exactly. I think that did change my opinion a lot. So
it also kind of goes to show why me and you have the exact same ending too.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, Jane ultimately is mad that we didn't steal anything, but we go back to the group. Then we go to Mike and Bonnie's little quest, and that has really no significance whatsoever besides getting the jacket and the water bottles, correct?
Yeah, we get a big water jugs. And is that mainly it, I think?
That's pretty much.
We do get that veteran's coat.
Yep, the veteran's coat that helps keep her warm. But that's essentially all that little scenario is we just get the coat and the water, and then we head back to the camp where Rebecca is having her water break, and we need to go get Kenny immediately, right? I'm looking at the playthrough right now. We go to this right here.
So
we go back and let's double check this. Yes, so we're with Mike and Bonnie. We go back to the camp, and Rebecca is panicking having her baby, or starting to have her water break. So then, as soon as she starts making noise, walkers start appearing. And what did Kenny do when the walkers started appearing?
Kenny, he decided he should stay back and protect the, I guess technically, protect, but the main reason I think he wanted to sit back and try and take, he stood there.
He wanted to get some aggression out. He wanted to stand there and
I can't think of the right words.
He was damn near emotionally broken, so he needed to just kind of get some aggression out, and what better to do it on than some dead corpses that are walking around.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone at that moment thought he was like going crazy, but I kind of understood it as he just needed to get some aggression out and might as well take it out on some dead people than some alive people. So that's my view of it, at least.
Yeah, probably.
What were you thinking?
I think that's definitely where I was thinking. Like, the main reason he wanted to sit there and help protect everyone and take the walkers out was because he wanted to get his aggression out.
Right. Yep, I think that fits pretty well. Then we go to the tourist lookout, which is where Rebecca ultimately has her baby, and also where something unfortunate happens with one of Clementine's friends, and we know what happens with that. Do you have any thoughts on like how that played out?
Well, there is actually more to it than what you said, so I'm just gonna give a quick summary. Yeah, so pretty much we get up there. After we get up there, Rebecca is starting to have the baby, so she's obviously screaming a lot, and that draws a lot of the walkers up to the they're all heading up there and going up to try and attack everyone because of the noise that Rebecca is making. So while Kenny is helping Rebecca have the baby, pretty much everyone else is trying to defend the walkers. And while they are trying to defend the walkers, Clementine tries and goes to get a cannon. She tries to wheel the cannon up against the gate to stop the walkers from getting through. While that crashes the whole thing, half the deck down, and all those zombies fall. The other part of that is Sarah falling off the deck, and she's trapped under all the rubble.
Yep. To prevent them from getting up there, they ultimately cut down the deck, and Sarah falls with it.
Yeah. And Jane is me and Mitch, we both decided that Jane is hanging off the side of the deck because she was on the edge of it.
Yep.
And me and Mitch both decided that we wanted Jane to go down there and help Sarah get out. So we tried that. It didn't end up working, unfortunately. So Sarah did not make it out of there, and she did pass away. But
did you notice in the moment when we wanted Jane to drop down, she's like, "She's a goner, don't drop me," or whatever.
Yeah, she did.
And it was another situation where I was like, "Are you gonna try to save her or not?" And I don't know. In my opinion, I think just trying to help someone, because obviously she has full control of everything. She's not trapped. She can climb back up if she needs to. She doesn't even want to try.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's like, yeah, Jane is one of those people where if she had a best friend that was about to die, and it is probably possible that you could save him, but she had the option to save herself instead. She's that person that would ditch all her friends to die and save herself.
You'd be like, "Sorry, I'm going away. So you can fend for yourself," and that's not a very it's not a very camaraderie lifestyle. She's fending for herself, and that's it. Which did surprise me later on in episode 5, where she did come back at one point, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But still, it put a bad taste in my mouth when she would just, every single time there was an opportunity to help someone else, she was super selfish, and she did not even give it a second thought. So
then after that, the walkers somehow started climbing up the deck from those all the rubble that fell. So Clementine, being the smart 500 IQ genius she is like, "All right, we gotta bring the deck down." So she points to the thing, grabs her little hammer axe thing, and chops down the entire deck. And
and then everything goes good, right?
Well, they make it seem like the baby dies at first.
God,
remember?
I was depressed when I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, "No, come on, don't do that to us." Then luckily, I was actually starting to cry.
Yeah.
And I see you are too. So
I'm watching it at the exact same time.
We're both like, yeah, I am, yeah. And then suddenly the baby makes it out of there, and it's like, it's a miracle. It's so great.
And that is probably the, I guess, best scenario that episode could have ended in. Or not episode, because we still have a little bit to go, don't we? Right?
I mean,
it doesn't end just there. It ends
really.
The next day, right?
Well, okay, it does.
It
does.
Guess,
yeah.
So
there's a bit more time in this.
Yep. So essentially,
this is after. Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. So after what they named to be AJ, the baby AJ, Alvin Jr., because Alvin was the dad. Pretty much that after AJ was born, that is when Kenny started to he has a lot of experience of being a dad because he had Duck. And give a quick summary for all the people that may not have watched season 1. Give a quick summary of who Duck was.
Duck, essentially, well, he not essentially, but he was Kenny's only son, and we met Duck as Lee when we were playing as him in season 1, and we had the option to save Duck at an early episode, and we both did that to an extent where Kenny kind of said, "Okay, this Lee character is a good person because he tried to help save my son." And then later on down the line, Duck inevitably gets bit, and then Kenny has to watch his son die, and in the process, his wife actually kills herself as his son is dying there, so he has to lose his son and wife in the same day. So that's who Duck is, and that's why we keep referring to Duck. And if you didn't know who that was, that's a really, really simple rundown of what happens with Duck. But you have to watch season 1 to get the emotional impact of what happened. So that's a quick summary.
Yeah. So because of that, Kenny obviously has a lot of experience being a dad, and he wants to be that father figure of Alvin Jr. So it makes a lot of sense. However, at the time, while Rebecca is just having her newborn, she wants to try and spend as much time with him as she can. Unfortunately, that does not go too well. We'll get there in a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't go as expected, because unfortunately she does end up passing away, just because there's a lot of reasons leading up to that. But yeah.
And Kenny kind of, from the moment AJ is born, he, in a way, kind of fills in that void where Duck was with AJ, because now he has someone to protect again that's little and like a baby. He kind of does that with Clementine, but in a way, this is a fresh start for him.
Yeah, exactly.
So in regards to that, we end up going to bed that night, and just a kind of a sidestep, we find out Jane actually decides to leave in the middle of the night and decides, hey, I'm not for these group scenarios. People are depending on me, and I don't want to have my life in risk for everybody else's sake, and it's going to end up bad. So do you have any final thoughts on what you thought in that moment when she left, or what were you thinking at that point?
Personally, I think it was better if Jane left, because I think she knew what she was doing. She had a lot of experience, obviously, right?
Yep.
Knowing like what she was doing as a survivalist. But I think in the long run, she I think she did end up causing a lot of problems for the group, which I wasn't that mad about. Oh, also, I did want to bring something up right before I finish my thoughts on Jane. Luke and Jane actually. You go ahead and describe that quick.
They had a little boingy time when no one else was around, so they had a little intimate relationship happening.
Yeah. So yeah, Luke comes, and then after that, he figures out that Jane left as well, and he's obviously really torn about that, because he was like, oh, I want a relationship with her, but yeah. So
yep, he sad about that. And then what happens is, and it's a little detail, but Kenny comes over and he has the baby, and they get into a little argument saying like, hey, can you keep it down? Where they're trying to sleep and stuff, and then he's like, are you serious? You got into a relationship with Jane? And then they start yelling, and does that happen right now, right? I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, it's because the reason Kenny came over there is because
smacks a wall,
Luke
right?
was mad. Yeah, he smacks a wall, and Kenny comes over. He's like, keep it down, and he's like, oh yeah, I miss Jane. She just left. I wanted something with her. And Kenny was like, oh, knock that childish crap off.
Right.
So that starts a big fight.
Yep, but that starts a big fight. Ultimately, it doesn't really lead to anything significant. They end up all just going to bed.
Rebecca is like, Kenny, I need my baby.
Yeah, and that's why Kenny is like taking on that role of the protector. He's protecting the kid, and he's not thinking about Rebecca. But then once he comes back to reality, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, here's your kid. But still, it's in his brain that, I need to protect this kid, and he's kind of replacing that area where Duck was. Yeah, I'd say that pretty much sums up the night for as much as it is, and they kind of fight about whether they have to leave, immediately or give some time for Rebecca to rest. What did you end up choosing?
I chose we leave in the morning.
I think I chose the same thing.
No, I'm pretty sure you decided to.
Let's see.
I'm almost at that
I
part.
did. I said
Good.
Rebecca needs to rest. We should wait a few days.
Yeah.
So regardless of the choice we make, it happens the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so essentially that ends the night when we choose what we did, and then in the morning, or I guess in the morning / a few days from then, it shows all of us walking in a snowstorm, and this is where things take a turn.
Yeah.
And I get mad
let
at
me
things.
Quick.
What are you doing?
Okay. So yeah, once they sleep a few days. Well, as for me, it was a day. But yeah, that is actually they go off in the cold. I think they wanted to head off into that town, right? That was across the river.
Yeah, they wanted to go up there to see if they can find any information on Wellington.
But
Mhm.
yeah, that did not go to plan. So as they're walking, as they're on their journey to the town. Oh yeah, were they going to Wellington? I think Kenny was the only one that wanted to do that.
Yeah, Kenny was headed there, but the others just wanted to go to that town to find food or water or people or whatever.
I think that's what they were all planning on doing, though, in the end.
Yep.
So, yeah, as they were walking their journey to that town across the river, this is where we see a familiar face return, and that is Arvo.
I'm so mad.
So Arvo kind of comes out of nowhere with a ton of Ruskies.
Well, here, let's
Kenny calls them.
Before we get into that moment, Arvo comes up and he's just like, "Oh, Clementine, where's that other girl that was with you?" And then, you say she's gone.
Oh yeah.
But then
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe you. And then he starts speaking Russian, and then a bunch of people come out of the woods, and you're surrounded by a ton of Russians.
Yeah.
And this was all because apparently
they all have AKs too.
Yeah, they all have AKs, but it's apparently because you tried to steal from him even though you didn't, or Jane tried to steal even though you didn't. You gave it back.
I think Jane might have gone after she left. I don't know if this is true or not, because we really never figure that out, because Jane comes back with nothing, so who knows. But I think Jane might, after she left, I think Jane might have gone out and stole from them anyway. But I'm not sure on that.
Good point. Although she doesn't, like you said, she doesn't have it when she comes back. So I would kind of doubt it.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. If she did, she didn't tell us. And then in the midst of the fray, we notice that Rebecca is, slowly falling over and is not breathing any longer.
Yeah.
So a bunch of Russians have their guns pointed at us, and everyone is all on edge. Rebecca is dead as we know it. She's turning into a walker.
Yeah, she's turning into a walker. So I think I didn't shoot Rebecca, because it gives you the option to shoot Rebecca or leave her there, and then if you leave her there, Kenny turns around and it gives you the option to shoot Rebecca or call for help. If you call for help, then Kenny turns and shoots Rebecca. But if you shoot Rebecca, then you shoot Rebecca, and that's what causes a big war.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I am looking at my choice right now, and I chose the call for help option.
I'm here.
I said Rebecca,
the reason.
no.
Actually, we'll go over that as we go over our choices. But
sure.
So yeah, me and Mitch, we called for help, and so Kenny. The reason Kenny, I'm assuming this is probably the most likely reason that Kenny shot Rebecca, is because he is obviously trying to be the father figure to AJ,
right,
and he is trying to go out of his way to protect him. So Kenny, knowing him, he doesn't want Rebecca or AJ to end up dying to Rebecca as she's turning into a walker. So Kenny shoots Rebecca, and then the episode wraps up in a black screen, and you hear a ton of gunshots going off. So
that screen got me. I put my hands on my mouth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Also, did you? I actually don't realize. I don't know if I addressed this or not.
What?
You may have, but oh, dude, it frustrates me so much. Arvo blames you for stealing, and then remember his sister comes out of nowhere.
That's
fine.
the next one. That's the next one on episode 5.
No,
right?
I'm watching it right now. She comes out right now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wait, what the heck? Let's see.
It doesn't happen yet.
She does come out.
Yeah.
And she's acting totally fine. So was the medicine for his sick sister? That is interesting, to say the least.
I didn't address that in my video, I don't believe.
I didn't either. I just noticed in a while, or in the 5th episode, I was like, oh, it's his sister, as you're gonna find out she was dying and got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting to point out, because now we know maybe she wasn't sick at all and Arvo was lying, which makes him even more of a snake than he was.
Yeah.
So interesting, to say the least, and definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to my end screen quick when I can pull that up.
I'll go ahead and show them my choices.
Yeah, let's go here and
here's episode 4. There we go.
There we go. All right, so episode 4, Amid the Ruins. With the first choice, we saved Sarah. Both of us did that. 40.6% of players, which means 60% of people left them.
60% let her die. Wow.
That's hard to imagine.
I'm shocked about that.
Wow.
I mean, if you notice, though, all the choices this episode are pretty split.
Yes, they are. Holy crap. 40.6, 52, 50. Okay, yeah. Robbed Arvo. We didn't.
Me and Mitch did not do that. I don't really understand the next one, because I feel like most people probably would have done that, but that one's completely even.
It's 50%, so it's like, do you go through there to get water, or do you not? I don't know.
Do you want to just address that so people know what happened?
Okay, yeah. So when you go with Mike and Bonnie to the museum, you essentially find some gallons of water, but they're locked inside of a room.
Yeah.
And you are the only one that can fit through the crack that can go through there. And there's a walker in there that tries to eat you, but you kill it.
Yeah.
And you get the water, but that's pretty much the gist of that choice, which was pretty meaningless, but whatever.
I'm very surprised that it was completely split. I feel like a lot more people would have gone through and tried to get the water, but I guess a lot of people were probably thinking like, oh, well, maybe we're too big to fit through there. Because I think I was actually kind of, I think I was thinking if I should do it or not, because I was somewhat thinking I'm too big to fit through there now because I'm older. But I did end up doing it. So.
Yep, I did the same thing. Held the baby.
You were saying like, I wonder.
Oh yeah, I wonder if people didn't go through there, if you guys, or they got the 2 water jugs. Like, did they get those? If they went through?
Oh. Well, remember, Clementine got stuck.
Did she get stuck? I think she got stuck because she got grabbed, didn't she?
No, she got stuck because she couldn't fit through. And then when while she was stuck, the walker came and Mike kicked down the door.
Gotcha.
So maybe Mike, I don't know. I want to look at that after this though. So, yeah, because I haven't seen anything on that. Maybe they don't get the water.
That would be an interesting thing.
And the walker just gets to live. I
guess so. And then the final choice, which is...
Held the baby.
Oh, sorry, you held the baby. So this one, I thought everyone would do, but they didn't.
Yeah, what?
I guess some people just don't like holding babies. I don't know.
This reminds me of in the lodge. in the lodge, there was an option. While Rebecca asked, "Do you want to hear the baby kick?"
Yeah.
And there was an option that went, "Ew, gross." That reminds me of that, but I don't know why people wouldn't
I don't know.
hold the baby.
Maybe they just thought maybe they would drop it or something. I don't know. But
Who knows?
Who knows?
And then shot Rebecca. I did not.
We did not. And this one is also evenly split. 57. It's a little off to the side, but
yeah.
Still.
The reason I didn't do that though is because just because like I didn't want if we somehow made the wrong decision there, I didn't want to get blamed for another person getting killed.
That's honestly, I had the same exact thought. I was like, if I shoot this kid, imagine if like you did it, and this isn't what happens, but if you pulled the trigger and then accidentally shoot AJ. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh, man.
Can you imagine?
Oh no.
I'm not saying that would. No, I'm just saying imagine the rage Kenny would have if you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just didn't want to get blamed for another tragic event at that point.
It obviously wouldn't have happened that way, but
yeah,
I don't think Kenny would have been the person to get mad that you kill Rebecca.
No, yeah.
I think it probably would have been Luke or Mike or someone.
Yeah,
but,
like they would have said like, you should have thought about that before you did that or something. But then Kenny did it, and they can just get mad at Kenny, whatever. I don't care.
Somehow that didn't happen, but yeah.
Right.
So that's all the choices for episode 4, and then we have one more podcast after this.
We are officially done with episode 4. We got one more, episode 5, which is a very short episode compared to the rest. It seems like
it's actually a lot shorter than I thought.
Yeah, it's a lot shorter, so we can probably take care of that one really quick after this one. But otherwise than that, that's pretty much it for episode 4. I want to say thank you guys for joining in and hanging out with us throughout the entire process. I know the episodes are a little longer than we originally thought, but that just makes for a good podcast. You can just minimize it if you want and just listen along with us. Maybe you're in the car somewhere driving, listening in the car. It makes for a good listening experience.
We should try and get this on Spotify. I don't know if that's possible or not, but
maybe I can look into it. But for anyone that's interested and wants that to happen, leave a comment. That would be cool to know. But with that being said, I want to say thanks for joining, and hope you guys are enjoying the experience. We're enjoying it wholeheartedly, getting to know.
I am loving it.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're getting to dive in deep.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are enjoying it. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the final episode. Like and subscribe, of course. Thank you, bros, for the straight up. Go and follow Bros' channel. Go and follow my channel. Do whatever you want to do. And we'll catch you in the final podcast. See you then. Bye.
Bye. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the last, final episode 5 podcast of this short little mini series that we have going on here. And right after that, we are going to be starting season 3 of The Walking Dead. I cannot wait to see how that plays out. I think it's going to be a lot of different choices for a lot of people. Because especially for all those different outcomes that the game is going to start off of, it's going to be really interesting to see. So yeah, I think we should probably look into seeing if we can get it on Spotify. No promises. We're not positive how we can do that yet. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.